Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Biology 120. This is an introductory biology course. So we will start at the very basics of biology and continue on through the semester. This is week 1. We are starting right now, and we've got a lot going on even in this first week. So what is biology? Biology is the study of life. And so in this class, we go all the way from chemistry, so studying atoms and molecules and the important molecules of life, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, which are fats, oils, and waxes, and nucleic acids. We're going to learn about the chemistry of life. We're going to move into cells. We're going to move into genetics and how genetics happens and the importance of DNA, on into ecosystems and the biosphere at the end of the course, and human population and how it affects the earth. So we're going from the tiniest little particles all the way to the biosphere, which is every part of the earth that contains organisms. All right, so let's see what we've got going on this week. First of all, read chapter 1 in your textbook. This is a free textbook, OpenStax Biology 2nd edition. All you have to do is do a Google search. It is a free textbook. Now you can download it if you want to. That takes forever. I have downloaded a PDF of it. I still don't use that. I use the online version because you can search it so very easily and find exactly what you want. So go to your textbook. It's absolutely free. Watch the 2 videos about what is life, what's the scientific process, and also read the article on giant viruses. You will need that for this week for your journal entry. Then, the way to get started is to start with your discussion board postings. Every single week you will have these due. And every week, your initial post is due by Thursday night before midnight. Then you should make 2 response posts to 2 of your classmates by Sunday night before midnight. So this week, introduce yourself. What's your background? What are your hobbies? Where do you live? Where do you live is really important because we find out sometimes that we are next door neighbors even though we're in an online class. I had a student who lived just a mile or 2 away from me a couple of terms back, so that was crazy. We went to the same grocery store and stuff. How crazy. So anyway, tell us who you are, your background, your career goals, and your hobbies. They're really cool to see if we have things in common, because we probably do. And how this course is going to help your new career, whatever it is, whether you're going to work for a park service or do environmental testing or do population studies or go be a medical doctor or whatever it is that you're going to do. So you're also going to explain why the scientific method is important in biology. So that means you have to know something about it. Go and watch that video on the scientific process. And then give an example of how you have used the scientific method in your everyday life. And really, don't we do that every single day to problem solve, to figure out what's going on? We do it every day. Then your 2 response posts are due by Sunday night. Like I said, you're going to respond to 2 of your classmates. Remember to be respectful and also use their name. You wouldn't just walk up to somebody and start talking, right? So use their name in the post and include what you have in common, because you probably have a lot in common, and share tips and resources that you use to be successful in online classes. Remember that this must be substantive. Everything that you do must be substantive, because this is how we learn about each other and from each other, to have real substance in your post. Like just saying, oh man, that is so cool that you live in New York City. Nice to meet you. Okay, you got to have more than that. So be substantive. All right. And then you're also going to complete a journal entry. This is assignment 1-2. And this is to be or not to be alive. So you're going to be discussing what it means to be alive, because what's biology but the study of life? So you have to understand what life is in order to understand how we study it. There are properties of life, and there are all kinds of these lists. Some textbooks say there are 4 properties of life. Some say there are 8. Some say there are 9. It really doesn't matter. It's all the same characteristics. It's just how you juggle them and put them together in order. So anyway, let's go through these quickly. Order is one of the properties of life, and so there is order to all life. So life is organized into cells, and then cells are organized into tissues, and then organs and organ systems, etc., into organisms. Now, if you're a single-celled organism, like a bacterium, your one cell is the organism, but there's still order to it. There are parts to it. Everything is just not chaos. Okay, so order. Sensitivity and response to stimuli. Now you're thinking, but if you look at a tree, you can go over and kick it and it doesn't do anything. So is it really sensitive? Oh, it's sensitive to so much in the environment. Sunshine and rain and herbicides and all sorts of things. So sensitivity is tremendously important. Reproduction. If you don't have reproduction, you can't have new generations that move into the future. So if you don't have reproduction, the species dies out. Adaptation. This doesn't mean like you adapting to a new relationship or something like that. That's not what it means. Adaptation is that you have certain characteristics that allow you to survive in a particular ecosystem. Characteristics, think of it that way. Growth and development, of course, that's important. Now, if you're talking about a bacterium, which is a single-celled organism, there's not a whole heck of a lot of growth, but there is some before the mother cell divides. But if you're thinking about an organism like us, we completely change from a fertilized egg all the way up to a grown-up human being. So you know there's a lot of growth and development in us, as well as lots of other organisms. Regulation and homeostasis. So homeostasis is a really important concept. It's balancing. It's how everything in an organism stays balanced. So you can't have too much waste products building up. If you do, the organism will die. You have to regulate pH. We do in our bodies. And so lots of these fads that I see, oh, let me drink some alkaline water because that's going to change the pH of my body. No, it's not. You have buffering systems in your body that maintain your pH, because if your pH gets out of whack in your body, you will die. So homeostasis is keeping everything in balance, whether you're a single-celled organism or an organism with billions of cells. Keeping things in balance. Pushing out waste products, bringing in nutrients, maintaining a certain level of oxygen if you need that, because not all organisms do. So keeping things in balance. Energy processing, of course, that means consumption of nutrients and food in some way, and then changing that food into energy molecules that you need, like ATP, and boy, will we be talking about that this term. And then evolution, and that's a change in genes in a population over time. So really, evolution is a term that refers to what happens to populations over time. What's a population? Members of the same species that live together in a particular time and location. And so over time, populations change in response to what? In response to environmental pressures that are out there. Whatever is out there, the climate, the amount of rain, the other organisms that are present, disease, so many things, all the pressures that are out there. So that's evolution. So those are the characteristics and properties of life. And if you're alive, then you have to exhibit all of those properties. And that's the thing with viruses. So when you look back at that list, you'll see that there is order to viruses. They're little pieces of genetic information, either DNA or RNA, that are inside a protein coat. And then they can have other structures too. So they are very highly organized. Do they reproduce? They certainly do. However, they cannot reproduce on their own. They have to hijack a cell, which is living, and then they take over the machinery of the cell to make new viral particles. Do they do energy processing? They absolutely do not. They do not consume food. They do not make ATP molecules for energy. They don't do any of that. Do they evolve? Yes, they do. They change over time in response to whatever their hosts are and to the environment. So you see that they meet some of the criteria, but they do not meet all of the criteria. And you have to in order to be considered something alive. Okay, so also I want to give you my hints for Bio 120. Every week, either on Sunday night or Monday morning, I will post announcements. And I will have a video. There's a mosquito. That's crazy. So, darn. So I will post announcements every single week, and in the announcements I'll have a video like this one, and I will give you hints and tips and tricks and talk to you about the material for the week. So please watch my videos, please read the announcements so that you understand all the deadlines and everything that's really important for that particular week. Remember, deadlines are important. Thursday night initial discussion board post is due. Sunday night, everything else is due, including the due response post. Follow your guidelines and rubrics for each assignment. They are present. So what the heck is a rubric anyway? A rubric is an organized way for me to grade something. It tells me what should be contained in this particular assignment in order for this to be a really good body of work, or okay body of work, or not acceptable, or not even present. So that's what a rubric is. You can see them even before I grade, so you know what I'm looking for. Read any feedback that I give you so that you can improve and do things correctly. Label everything with a class, Bio 120, SNHU, the date, your name. You can put my name on there if you want to, but label everything that you turn in, that you upload into the course. And if you have any problems, if you have any questions, if you have any trouble whatsoever and can't get your assignments in, please let me know. I'm here to help you be successful. I only teach 1 or 2 courses every term. I'm retired. I do lots of crazy fun things. You see lots of my photographs in the presentations that I make. But I do like to still teach biology. So I am here for you to help you any way that I can. Email me, m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm here for you. And with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful week this first week. Yay!